Hey, gang, welcome, welcome, welcome. As usual, here we are on a beautiful Friday. I'm telling you what, you better get your fishing in quick because Tuesday, all holy heck is breaking loose in Southern California. We got 9 days of straight rain. It might even rain like 4 or 5 tenths of a thousandth of an inch on Tuesday. So batten down the hatches, gang. The big rain's coming. It may rain up to a half of a tenth of an inch on Tuesday. It's going to be crazy. Storm Watch 2025 in Southern California. Look at that. Jerry, welcome to the show. Introduce your deckhand to us and let everybody know, and I'll tell everybody who's here.
All right. Well, this is Shibu Koshi. He is my solid deckhand. He's also a captain. We're both from Southern California, but said we had enough, so we ended up in Hawaii.
Yeah, it's so cool. I love following you. I watch what you guys are doing over
Right
there.
on.
It is like probably one of the bucket list places on the planet Earth to live, Hawaii. I mean, come on, who doesn't want to go to Hawaii?
Right.
And then you guys have to live there. I feel sorry for you. I'm really, really sorry.
Well, you
Uh,
know what? It's crazy because I've born and raised in Long Beach, and moved up to Northern California. I've fished all up and down from Fort Bragg all the way down to San Diego on the border. And it was just really sad how things got with the fishing situation over there, how they just choked everybody out. I mean, now they can't get abalone, you can't get any of this stuff. You've got limits that are just ridiculous because there's tons of fish there. I just said, screw this, I'm out of here. So I've moved over. It's been 5 years now, full time, and I absolutely love it. The fishing here is great. The people are great. It's actually cheaper to live here in California, if you can imagine. And we're on a big island of Hawaii, so it's a little bit different than people think. Oahu and Maui and all of that. It's more rural here. I mean, this is like old Hawaii where we're at, and I tell you, it's a beautiful place to live. Life is much different, slower, and it's just a better vibe over here.
yeah, I think it is. I watch what you're doing and I look at what's going on over there. It looks so much more enjoyable than Southern California anyway, but I mean, we can't knock Southern California. Most of our guests and most of our people are from Southern California, so we don't want to beat up on it too bad, but yeah, like me, I live here in Cabo San Lucas, same type of thing. It's pretty nice to be able to go fish for fish and actually keep fish and take them home and eat them, kind of like they do in Hawaii, and you're not a criminal. It's kind of
Yeah,
cool.
that's a fact, definitely. No, you know what? I'll be perfectly honest with you. I miss California fishing, flat out miss it. I love it. The anglers there, they're great people. So I've made allies with many people in Orange County, San Diego, Northern California. Commercial and recreational fishermen, and I got to tell you, they're great people. I'm sorry that the state is doing what they're doing to all these folks who genuinely just want to make a living and enjoy their sport of fishing. It's too bad, but for all of you guys out there in California fishing, uh, man, I kudos to you. I got to hand it to you. It's a tough situation, but you keep on doing it. And I watch the reports out of Dana Point, out of San Diego, even Long Beach, and these guys are doing a great job. The commercial guys, the sport fishing guys, they're doing great. And my reasons besides the fishing for moving over to Hawaii, there are other reasons why I did that. We actually got burned out of Northern California on one of the wildfires. So my wife said, I can't do this anymore. And so we packed it up and we moved over here, and it's been a good life.
Yeah, so before we get going any farther, Malama Charters is the name of Jerry's company, and Elliot will throw up whatever Facebook or TikTok or Instagram stuff you got going on as we
Yeah.
talk here. But let's get into your deckhand and what He's from Southern California too. How long you been into this fishing thing? Is it part of the deal? It's super important for me to get kids into fishing.
Yeah, I've been fishing all my life. I got hooked on freshwater fishing back in California. Then I ended up traveling to the Caribbean for schooling, and I ended up getting into a Wahoo tournament out in Trinidad and Tobago. And that ever since then, I've been chasing game fish all over the world. Ended up here in Hilo, Hawaii, and found out some of my personal best records can be broken here. Nowhere else. Just a couple weeks ago, we caught a 44-pound bull mahi, which is my personal best, big boy.
Nice. That's a beautiful fish. Jesus, 44 pounds. Wow.
Yeah, so we've been pretty fortunate out here this season. We ran into a huge school and just pounded them on a what was it, 5-6 hour charter.
Yeah, 3 hours of actual fishing.
We just pounded it for three hours, and our guests were just exhausted, and we're like, "No, we got to keep going." We ended up having to come in because of ice. We need more ice, so
That's a good problem to have.
yeah, it is.
We couldn't keep 30 fish on ice.
Yeah, yep. So, and but anyways, I mean, you're originally,
Yeah, it's I've been fishing out in the Hawaiian Islands since 1999, and been out here from Maui to the Big Island. I really love the Big Island, the way everything is here and the way it's set up. It's easy going. There's no rat race per se here. That's the best way to put it. Growing up in Southern California, there's always a clock ticking behind you.
Yeah, Jerry, you said the cost of living is better there than California. How can that be on Hawaii?
So believe it or not, I mean, our gas prices are compatible to California, but the way that we live over here, we just live a little bit simpler. The extravagance of living in California, you got to have this, got to have that. We've learned to just kind of downsize. Yeah, milk is more expensive, bread's more expensive, groceries are more expensive on the whole, but most of us are on solar over here. We don't have garbage bills. We take our own garbage down, and it's free. We don't have to pay for it. Water is free. We're on catchment water. We don't have heating and cooling bills. So, when you lump all of that stuff together and consider, the cost of living here, we go down and we trade vegetables with neighbors. We trade fish, all of that stuff. And we trade services too, barter system. So add all of that into the cost of living, and it is actually cheaper to live on this island.
Nice. Well, that's the thing I saw when I was over there was there's no windows. The houses don't have any windows. It's pretty crazy because the temperature is always bitching.
That's right. It's I think the coldest we've experienced here was one night it got down to 59 degrees a few years back. And it doesn't get over 88 degrees.
I think I put socks on that day.
Yeah. So it's pretty amazing.
That's way cool. That is super cool. And then as far as the fishing goes, there's just a plethora of things to do, right?
Oh my God. Anything from, we do the pelagic fishing. We usually go 18 miles, 20 miles offshore, for the ahi tunas, mai-mais, marlin, all of those pelagics. And then we come in and we'll do bottom fishing for snappers. And so there is a plethora of different fishing styles that we can do here, anywhere from trolling, which is the most popular, trolling lures. And we also do, troll bait, and we'll do what they call palu ahi, which is, we'll drop down with bait and some chum just to kind of get a chum slick going in the water. We'll fish that way. And then there's a form of fishing over here called Ika shibi. Shibi meaning small yellowfin tuna, or big. And at nighttime, the guys will go out and they'll catch the squid, which is the Ika, and then they'll use the squid as the bait. And that's typically how a lot of these fish are caught over here on this side of the island, is Ika shibi. But like I said, there's all sorts of different methods that we use, anything from hand lines to trolling at 8-9 knots.
Well, now my buddy Mike Lewis and I, we love bait fishing. Can we just go on your boat and can we just fish bait instead of trolling?
Absolutely.
We got to make bait first. We don't get, unfortunately, we don't got barges that sell bait.
Nothing like San Diego or Long Beach that have bait barges. So
even Mexico.
Yeah, well, Mexico. So
cut squid, stuff like that. You guys can buy that stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. But you know what we do too is we use the little damashi rigs, and we'll catch opello, which is a small big eye scad, and they fish out here absolutely love them. So we'll get a bucket full of those guys before we go out, and then we'll use that for for baiting, live baiting.
Right, but most of the time, most of the people that come on your boat, they want to troll, right? They want to catch a big marlin or a wahoo or something like that.
Yep, absolutely. And
they're not too much.
Yeah, about 85% of the time, 90% of the time, we'll just troll. And we usually do very well. We've got another deckhand of mine, Tyler. He makes his own lures. We've got a bunch of those on deck. And
oh, look at that Dorado. Jeez.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Woo!
That one was about 30. That one, about 35 pounds, that one. So, but I mean, we have probably 300 lures on board. Anything from the little tiny guys for the skipjack tunas, all the way up to the large marlins that are 14-inch with the big giant heads on them.
That is so cool. Big bull Dorados. Those things are bitching. Throw it right in a hole before it beats the hell out of somebody. Huh?
Yeah, it's what we do. And we have an advantage. We got a big fish hold that when we bring them over the rail, they immediately go down in the hole. That way they're not flailing around. They're dangerous. They can really mess you up. I've gotten stuck a few times in my leg with their dorsal fins. But it's good to have we can hold about 5,000 pounds of fish on that boat. And incidentally, it was built in Southern California by a little company called Radovich.
Yeah.
Boats were designed to go up and down Mexico and Baja and catch fish. They're a commercial builder, a little boutique builder. But found this one over here in 2019. We've rebuilt her in 2022. And she's been a great platform for fishing over here.
She's pretty fishy.
Yeah, she's very fishy.
So we got a little bit ahead of ourselves. I'd like to start out in the very beginning, John, or Jerry, excuse me, John. I'm reading this thing on the side from my guy, John Stanley, who says, who keeps the fish? We'll talk about that in a little bit.
Yep.
But Jerry, who got you started into fishing when you were young? Was it when you were a little kid? What was the deal? And then we'll talk about that for a minute. And then we'll talk to your deckhand about who got him into fishing.
You betcha. 4 years old, my dad took me up to Big Bear Lake, caught my first sunfish, well, bluegill, they call them, yeah. I was hooked ever since then. And so from that point on, I was watching Dan Hernandez on Saturdays, right? As a little kid, he'd put his shows on, and oh my God, I would just absolutely be enthralled. So I learned a lot of stuff, believe it or not, watching him. With his programs, and I love how he supported the kids too at that time, and really important because I was a kid at the time and I could relate to it. And so I grew up fishing, fishing the bays, Alamitos Bay, out in Long Beach breakwater, out the oil platforms out there off of Huntington Beach and Long Beach, it was just awesome. My career as a fisherman was started when I was 4 years old. And that's, again, why it's so important to expose these kids to fishing early, because you never know who's going to be the next commercial or charter fishing captain, So, so that's kind of my story. And then when I was 24, I moved up to Northern California. And I did some charters up there out of San Francisco Bay and Bodega Bay, and with a smaller boat, obviously. It was a 22-foot Sea Ray. I could take 3 people, and we do crab and rockfish combos, salmon, halibut, striped bass, that kind of thing. But back then when I was 4 years old and I caught that first fish, that was it. It was over. It was over for me. So.
Oh, I know what you mean. I can remember to this second my dad taking me, and a lot of people have heard the story, but yep, it's 3 years old, sunk into me, got me, and I knew what I wanted to do the rest of my
Yeah.
life, just like you, Jerry.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, I mean, it's been such a huge blessing, to be able to. For me, I get more pleasure in taking people out fishing, watching the smiles and the looks on their faces when we bring over their fish, bring the fish over the rail for them, and just watch them in amazement. I mean, keep in mind, a lot of these folks are from the Midwest, Minnesota. A lot of them are from Utah and Montana, and they've never ocean fished before. So we have one shot to show these folks what it's about and what our culture is as fishermen, and express that in a way to them that they will never ever forget that experience. So I don't take that lightly. Either does Shabu.
No.
We're both on the same page when it comes to showing people what a good time is out on the ocean.
And Shabu, how did you get started?
I did freshwater, but I think when I got hooked in saltwater was probably when I was about 14. My mom took me and my brother to Catalina Island. We took the ferry over, and right there at the pier at Avalon,
Yep.
there was somebody selling sabiki and like a little fishing setup. So my mom picked up one for a couple bucks, got some bread from a little kid, started dropping down. We caught so much mackerel, it was not funny. There's probably like 20 or 30 pieces flopping on the pier. We ended up
Nice.
catching one Garibaldi.
Uh-oh.
Okay. That happened to be flopping on the pier too. I was probably 14 years old. The guy at the booth that sold my mom the sabiki said, "Hey, lady, you got $500 because that's how much that fish costs." My mom booted that Garibaldi back into the water so fast. It was hilarious.
Nice. Yeah, but you'll remember that forever, right?
Oh, forever. Are you kidding me?
So
I think that got me stuck. Pretty good memory.
we got a lot of questions coming in. First of all, Captain Al Clowers, he's a captain, 6-pack charter boat down in San Diego. He's got a beautiful Riviera, and he also runs a 3-person center console charters on a boat. He wants to know how is permits. He knows on the North Shore it's tough to get permits for a Halley. How is the permits over there on the Big Island, Jerry?
So for a commercial tour permit, it was very challenging, I gotta say. I was fortunate in that on our island and our side, the windward side here, there aren't a lot of fishing charter companies. In fact, I'm probably one of just 3 or 4 professional charter companies. Now, there's some guys out there that, yeah, come on, we'll pay for gas and we'll take you out fishing. But it wasn't easy. It took me about a year to get my permit, but I just stayed on it and stayed on it. Fortunately, I made friends with the harbor master, who she was able to get me the permit. And yeah, it's not super easy, but it's doable.
Okay.
Were you talking about the fishing license for people to come on?
No. Yeah, to get a charter boat permit.
Charter boat
okay.
permit, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So it wasn't super easy. I mean, there was times when I almost gave up because I'm like, they're never going to give me a permit. But I just stuck it through, But you know what? I've heard it from other people, even locals. That's just the way the system works over here. Nothing happens quickly, unfortunately. So you just got to go with it.
Okay. Then somebody's asking, Matt Ryan wants to know, why are there no rails in the corners of your boat?
Well, we've got to bring the fish in somehow. So those two areas are where we load passengers, and that's where we bring the fish in. But we do have some stainless, what is not chain, but
Real.
cables that we connect up to help keep passengers in. But typically, as you can see now, they're open, and we'll just latch those cables to kind of make a little bit more safety for people. But obviously, you got to see our freeboard on the boat is about 4.5 feet. So, in other words, we've got about 4.5 feet to the bottom to where the water is, because our boat sits up pretty high in the water. So we've got to be able to reach down and around to get to these fish so we can bring them inboard.
So is that not having a rail there ever been a problem?
Never.
No. Wow.
No.
Wow. That looks like down here in San Diego, that would be an accident waiting to happen.
Yeah. No, we're pretty clear to our clients that they need to stand back when we're bringing fish in. So,
right.
Yeah.
Hey, I got a really cool video I want you guys to watch
Yeah.
from my friend Todd Manser real quick. We're going to jump back in here with these guys in just a minute, talk about how you give back to the war heroes and stuff like that. So let's check out this video real quick from Todd Manser on Manser Marine and McCarty Yachts.
Awesome.
Hey guys,
Elliot?
Captain Todd here with McCarty Yacht Group and Manser Marine. Guys, I'm down here in Dana Point Harbor and it is beautiful. Guys, I just want to let you know if you guys are interested in buying or selling a boat right now, you can give me a call at McCarty Yacht Group. My number is 949-547-7748. We helped some beautiful people get into some wonderful boats this summer, and we're hoping that you give us a call so we can help you get through the entire process. It's not always as easy as you'd think, and you need somebody like us that has the experience to get you through it, from putting in offers, getting you through surveys, and getting into that final acceptance. If you guys are interested, give me a call at 949-547-7748. And hey guys, if you're interested in management, we have some spots open for yacht management, and this is a full service yacht management. We take care of the ins and outs of your boat so you don't have to. Make sure it's turnkey at any time. If you guys are interested, let me know at 949-547-7748. I look forward to hearing from you.
Good
All
job, Todd. Great. That's phenomenal. So as we're going forward here and we're moving into this thing, you guys give back a lot to the veterans, right?
Absolutely. We started Hook, Line, and Heroes organization back in, I think it was May of 2024, I'm guessing. And every month we've limited out, taken our group of veterans and first responders too, not police and fire. We've taken these guys out, and let's face it, we can't do enough for these people, for these men and women who put their lives on the line. And we've had lots and lots of Afghan vets, lots of Iraqi war vets. And you know what? They come out, and some of them are just really quiet and shy. They don't say much. But they'll come up to the bridge and they'll just start talking my ear off while I'm driving the boat. And you know what? It's therapy for these folks. A lot of them still have a lot of PTSD from what they did. And, I'm Coast Guard Auxiliary. So I've actually worked several disasters. I've done search and rescues. I've got 7 lives under my belt. So, and along with that comes a lot of PTSD. So, you see things that normal people don't see, and it stays with you. And you do things that normal people don't do. And that's what these men and women, they've been through this. And that's why we have such a heart for them. And we want to just, open our facilities up to them and have them come out and have a great day on the water and forget life for at least a day. So yeah, it's been great for us. We've actually worked with Wounded Warriors. We're looking at doing a tournament coming up in March with Wounded Warriors and having, Army, Air Force, Marines, and Navy and Coast Guard, teams battle it out for the biggest fish and, the smallest fish. So. But yeah, it's been something great for us. I just never realized the community, how they would embrace what we're doing, and man, we've been able to take out a lot of folks fishing just by word of mouth. You know?
Now, as far as a place to go fishing, you don't really think of the Big Island as a place to go fishing, and then you haven't had the opportunity to get this permit to take people fishing. It's got to be a huge plus for you as a business operator, right? To be on the
It
Big
is.
Island taking people fishing.
It is. Well, I mean, as you know, Dave, Kona being the probably one of the biggest sport fishing ports in the world for marlin. Um, they don't think about our side of the island at all for sport fishing, and we've
No.
got some plus 1,000+ pound marlin on this side as well. So, that's kind of why we're trying to put ourselves on the map here in Hilo. Is that we have the same type of fishing that some of the best sport fishing ports in the world have, and it's all available to anyone who wants to come out and check it out.
Yeah, and as far as people, you're going to come over to the Big Island. You want to go fishing with Jerry and see all his operation and what's going on with him. Let's go over how can we find you? Where can we go? What can we do? How's lodging there? How can we get an Airbnb? Can we get a house? Is there hotels? All that stuff. Shabu and Jerry, can you guys talk to us about that? Let us know, because this is kind of interesting and we've never really thought about fishing over there. I know there's a lot of wind. You guys get a lot of wind on that side of the island, right?
We do, and those are great questions, Dave. And yes, to answer your question, there's lots of Airbnbs over here that are very reasonable, and our weather is touch and go. I'll be honest, but we have weeks like this week where it's been absolutely beautiful, and then we have weeks where it's storming, just like you guys are experiencing now in California, right?
Right.
But the cost on this island is actually very affordable versus, say, Maui or Oahu, Honolulu. In comparison, you're going to spend, let's say, a couple $250 a night in one of the higher end hotels over here versus $450 or $500 on Oahu. So it's almost half. Lots and lots of really great Airbnbs on this side of the island. There's an area called Hawaiian Paradise Park, which has the majority of Airbnbs, but there's some in Hilo. There's some in a town called Pepeakeo, Ke'au. All of these places, Pahoa, wide open. There's plenty of really nice places to stay, and they're very reasonable. We're on the internet. You just Google fishing Hilo or sport fishing Hilo, and our site should come up. Malama Charters Hilo. Our URL is really simple: gofishhilo.com, and we do pretty good. I have to say. So when you decide to come over here and go fishing, it's important that you know that fishing is different over here. It's, as we talked about before, a lot of it is trolling. But our main goal is to bring back fish for your dinner table. And yes, you get to keep the fish, believe it or not. Lots of charters don't allow you to catch the fish because they want to cash it in for extra revenue for themselves. We're not that way.
Yeah.
Okay. We want you to have a great experience, and that includes taking home a nice chunk of mahi-mahi, throw on a grill, make tacos, whatever you want to do. But that's exactly our philosophy. Give back, right? You're paying us a lot of money to take you fishing. Let's send you back home with some fish, for God's sakes.
Mm-hmm.
And that being said, Jerry, can we fly fish out of Hawaii? Can we fly with our fish, or what's the deal? Because they don't really like fish leaving the island, huh?
They don't. However, we have had numerous clients that have bagged, frozen their own fish, and put them in a cooler and shipped them back home with them. And there hasn't been an issue at the airport so far. from what I've
Okay.
heard. And we had an epic trip where we brought in 17 mahi-mahi and a spearfish, and we filleted it all out for these folks. And mind you, it took hours, but they took it home, they chopped it up, put it in Ziploc bags, and shipped it all back to Minnesota with them.
Beautiful. That's
Yeah.
good to know, because
Yeah.
like John Stanley asked the question earlier, we just kind of breezed over it. We were going to get into it a little later. Most people, when they think of fishing in Hawaii, they think, damn, I don't really want to fish there because I don't get to keep the fish.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and that's unfortunately what a lot of these charters will do. They don't let you keep the fish. The boat keeps the fish. But that's not how we operate over here. We like to embrace the family culture, the real true Hawaiian family culture, and that is, if you go out, you get fish, you get to take it home. It's yours.
Nice. And then what kind of rigs do we got for fishing? What are we fishing with? Do we got some Penn, Shimano, Okuma? What do we got?
I'm old school. I stick with Penn.
Okay.
I've been a Penn fisherman all my life, and yeah, the Shimanos and the Okumas and those other ones, those are good reels. But Penn is my go-to. Always has been. I love the Penn gear. We fish with the internationals, 2 speeds, all the way from the 130s all the way down to the 50s and even 20s. But that's what we stick with is Penn. Yeah.
And what's the chance? Because I heard you say 130, so there may be a possibility to get one of those big blue marlin over there, right?
Absolutely. They are
Always.
out there. Always a chance. And we always, on every trip, run one of those lures on the 130 because you never know what's lurking out there.
That'd be kind of cool. Shabu,
Yeah.
what do you think?
Trust me. When we go out, they have chewed on some of the smallest lures I've ever seen.
Yep.
When they say elephants eat peanuts, that's a true statement.
Oh,
Yep.
yeah. My
Absolutely.
biggest blue marlin was on a little tiny cedar plug.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
If they're hungry, they're going to hit whatever they want. They might be a little bit more finicky. Just depends on the day. You know how it is.
Yeah, yeah, we catch them with the yellow hand towel. But
right?
you never know when you're trolling out there, Shabu, and you're looking at those jigs and you're just looking back there. You just don't know what kind of sea monster is going to come up and eat them, especially in Hawaii, because when you're just a couple feet off the bank of the island, it's 1,000 feet deep.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It drops off pretty quick. And, we'll usually go out to the fads. Of course, we don't have fads now. If your viewers don't know what those are, they're basically just buoys that the state sets for the fishermen. But, they're out 14, 16, 18 miles out there. And, we're fishing in 8,000 feet of water. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
So a fad is a fish aggravating device,
Right.
basically a fake kelp patty.
Yeah.
And
Correct.
sometimes they put them below the surface so that only the guy that sets them knows where it is.
Right.
And they are big time fish attractors. And in Hawaii, the problem you guys have is you don't have a lot of debris that
Nope.
gathers the fish up under it. So they've been relying, and a lot of the places rely on these fish aggravating devices. And it is a huge plus when you guys get one of those, because it gives you a place to go and catch fish for your clients.
Absolutely. And that's why we're crying now, because we have 5 of them missing right now. And the state, they're very slow to do, what they do. But we're hoping that in 2026, we're going to get some of them back. But, they're expensive. They can cost the state up to $50,000-$75,000 to put one of those in. Some of the local fishermen have taken it upon themselves, and they put their own in, and those can cost upwards of $20,000. So they do work out here in the Pacific, and they use them all over the world. And unfortunately, we're not in a position to be able to put our own in right now. But having said that, as long as we look and search for birds, bait piles, we're really, I'd say we're
Your
pretty,
random tree log or a
yeah,
cargo net from a huge
yeah,
container ship. Those
right,
we do occasionally catch a break with one of those floating.
yeah. But actually, Dave, it comes down to, and I'm not tooting my horn, but it comes down to experience and skill finding the fish. Because 90% of the fish are in 10% of the water, right? So it's up to us captains and first mates to be scoping out and looking at the conditions, searching out where the fish might be, checking the currents, checking temperature, all of that stuff. There's a science to it, and especially over here now in the situation that we're at without the fads in place, we're having to really depend on a lot of that science.
Yeah, a lot of looking, a lot
Yep.
of staring at water. A
Yeah,
lot
for
of
sure.
staring at water, gang. There's a lot of that, but the payoff is like Shabu just said, the payoff is so bitchin' when you see that
Yeah.
bird dip or that cargo net in the water,
Yep.
you
Oh yeah.
know, game on, baby.
Oh
All
yeah.
we gotta do is get close. All we
That's
gotta
it.
do is get
It's that
close.
it's that that excitement, when you see that, it's like you immediately get a boost of adrenaline. You're like, yes, okay, we're gonna be catching some fish. So it's awesome. I mean, it's what we live for, right? It's that feeling of being in a position where you're gonna be catching some fish. So
Absolutely. It's just so cool that you guys are running trips. You were on the show a couple years ago, and you guys had a major problem there. They didn't dredge your harbor, and you were
right.
stuck. You were landlocked. That sucked.
Yeah, unfortunately, we had a big storm that came through that washed a ton of sand into the harbor entrance, and it's a really small, narrow harbor entrance. And I was literally stuck for almost a year, not being able to take people out fishing. I had to get on every single day and check the NOAA tides to see if I had enough water to get through. Many times we scraped bottom. We did some damage to the bottom of the boat, the keel, because I draw about 4.5 feet of water. And it was really a challenge. I mean, I was taking people out fishing at 1 in the afternoon, and I hated it. But I had to pay the bills, and I was completely transparent and upfront with my clients, saying, "Look, this is what we got to do. This is when we can go out. I can only give you 4 hours because by the time we get back in, we won't have enough water." But fortunately, the state got their crap together, and they were able to dredge the channel out for us, and we've got about 8 feet now. So
Okay.
they're supposed to maintain it, and let's see what happens in the future.
Oh yeah. The thing about what you guys got going on over there, and correct me if I'm wrong, but if you're going to set up a charter to go fishing over there, you might want to make sure you got 2 or 3 days because of the
Absolutely.
weather, right?
Yes, sir. And we always tell people, book your trip early in your trip. Okay, book that charter to where if we have to push it out a day or two because of weather, we're able to do that. And that's come in handy, especially this time of year when we get these storms coming in and out, and we have to adjust for it because the seas are just too rough to get out there and unsafe. So yeah, that's a great point, Dave. We're not the only place that has to do that. There's many places around the world that are great fishing spots that you have to keep,
Right.
be mindful of that stuff.
Yeah, down here in Cabo, it's all about weather.
Yeah,
It's all about the weather. Shabu,
absolutely.
everybody's wondering where can they get a bitchin' ass shirt like that?
Everywhere. There's Costco. This is just a Hurley shirt.
Oh,
Get
there's
it all.
so much chit chat about your shirt. It's a winner, that's for sure.
Right
That is
on.
for sure.
Yeah, we got surfing on this side too. There's a spot called Honolulu, and every once in a while I'll throw a boogie board in the water and go in over there, and it's a blast. It reminds me of my days when I was a kid surfing Seal Beach and Huntington Beach and the Wedge. down there. It was, yeah, it's pretty cool.
And then how many people do you take on your boat if we want to
Well,
get over there and go?
yeah, we're a 6-pack, so we're allowed 6 passengers. And honestly, more than that, it gets a little crowded. Jovan Lee, our boat, is 32 feet long. We've got a nice big cockpit in the back. It's about 12 and a half feet by 14 feet wide. And it's comfortable with 6 people. So that's the max we can take. And that's the max, I would say 99% of the boats over here have is a 6-person limit.
Yep. I understand. I just want to let everybody else know because
Yep.
it's super important. Gang, when you go out on a boat, you don't want any more than 6 people. You really want 4 people.
Yeah.
If you're bringing a big family or something, maybe Jerry's got a friend that has another charter boat or something, and then it becomes fun because now you're fishing against each other.
Right.
Stuff like
Exactly.
that.
Yeah.
But you don't want to stuff your whole family on the boat. Oh, Jerry, we understand. We're not going to do anything to you. Yeah, well, you are if something happens.
Right.
Everybody's good until something happens.
Absolutely. It sucks, but that's the world we live in now. And knock on wood, we've been very, very fortunate that we're pretty good about being upfront with clients and tell them what they can and can't do, and the dangers. Because a lot of these people are they're fly fishermen from rivers and streams and lakes and things, and they just have no idea the dangers in fishing out on the ocean. So we have to do our briefing to them. We're really good about making them aware of all the dangers of sport fishing and on the ocean in Hawaii. So, yep.
And in Hawaii, that's a different world. You're in big, big water most of the time there, right?
Big water. Yeah, and we usually have combined swells, so they're coming from 2 directions. So it can get pretty bumpy out there. And lots and lots of folks have fed the fish over the rails. We try to tell them, look, if you're not used to it, take your seasick pills, for God's sakes. But inevitably, we always get somebody who says, oh, I can handle it. And, 20 minutes in the trip, they're barfing over the rail.
Well, anybody that gets seasick should never take their meds the day up. Always take it 24 hours the day before, because it doesn't belong in your blood. It belongs in your middle ear.
Yeah.
Keep telling them that.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. We tell them all the time the day before, take it, let your body get used to it.
Yeah.
So then when you get out there on that boat. Now, something that I'm really interested in is that we saw one of the little fish, the rockfish.
Yeah.
How deep is the water there that you're fishing for those kind of fish? And do you anchor? I mean, I want to know all about it. That's what's interesting to me. I don't really know if anybody else cares, but I want to catch a bunch of little fish. I'm not into that one big giant monster.
And you know what? A lot of other folks are too, Dave. And that's a great question. So we have our spots, and we'll fish anywhere from 350 feet on up to 700 feet. We use electric reels for our clients. So we're on a spot and we're drifting. We never anchor. It's just too deep to anchor. Plus, weather can change very quickly. And so we're using what we call chicken rigs. We make them on board, and Shabu puts them together at home in his spare time, and we'll drop 5 hooks at a time, go down. We're usually using about 2 pounds of weight, and we'll get down there, and it's amazing the varieties of fish that we bring up. It's just no different than California. You go out there, you get the boccaccios, you get the sculpins, you get a mix of all kinds of stuff. Over here, there's snappers in the snapper family. We have what we call gindais, which are those yellow striped snappers. We have the queenfish, which are the onagas, which are the red frilly-tailed fish. They can get up to about 30 pounds. Everything in between, pink snappers. So we've got about 7 different varieties of snappers here. And we do have one indigenous grouper, which I've seen on your site, Dave. A lot of times you ask, what fish is this? And we have a spotted Hawaiian grouper that is only caught in these waters.
And are they protected? Are you allowed to take them?
Nope. There's no
Oh,
limits.
cool.
You just got to find them.
You got to find them.
They're elusive.
Yeah, they're tough to find, but we've got our spots.
Right.
And that's the one thing, here in Hawaii, there is very few fish that there are actually limits on, unlike California. So
Right.
we can go out there and we can catch a bag full, 50, 60 of these bottom fish, and there's not a limit on them.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. And then it
Yeah.
also gives Shabu and other people a chance to make a little bit of money off of that fish when they catch them. Because, gang, you got that culture in California where you're like, oh, we got to save everything. There's no reason to save fish.
Right.
Fish are food.
Yeah.
Folks, fish are food. People are starving. People need to eat. People need to make money. Don't get mad because we're going to take that fish and we're going to sell it and we're going to make some money. Someone's going to eat it. It's going to be okay. I'll give you a hug tonight.
Yeah. And you know what? It's pretty strange, but typical. I'll post a picture of, a marlin or something big, and then I'll get some hater and say, oh, that fish didn't want to get killed. And why are you, destroying the ecosystem by, and I'm like, our culture here, you feed families, right? That's what fish are. Like you said, they're food. And
Yep.
we bring them in and we feed families with this. What is wrong with that? Especially in our world today, in our economy, as expensive as everything is, people don't have the luxury of going out, and buying fish for that matter. We give away a ton of fish just to locals here, neighbors, families, and you know what? That's what keeps it going around here. So yeah,
absolutely.
We're not afraid to kill fish. That's for damn sure.
And it's okay, gang. I know you guys, there's a lot of people that watch this and they think that they're going to save the world by not killing a fish.
Yeah.
That's the farthest thing from the truth. And Shabu, you might the greatest fisherman in the world. He may be the greatest fisher. He cannot affect the population of the fish in the Hawaiian Islands with the fishing pole.
No, but Cap, you know what I can tell you? Captain Jerry hasn't told you this, though, but over the summer, about 6 months ago, we had to do some repair work on the vessel. We painted 16, I'd say about 2.5, 3 foot tunas on the bottom of the hull just to stir up like competition on the boat.
So, yeah.
To raise fish.
So marlin, they'll see that like a school of fish. And you know
right.
who I learned that from? I don't know if you know who Bombo Yanez is, but he's...
Oh, yeah, very well.
Yep. He's the one, and thank you, Bomboy, for giving us the template to paint this on our boat. And I tell you what, it worked.
It raises
works.
Fish.
It raises fish. It's crazy.
Creates competition.
Yep, for sure.
Absolutely, gang. And whatever you can use as an advantage. Because as you guys know, it's hard enough to get the fish to bite once you find them.
Absolutely.
Holy moly.
And that's why we're constantly, sometimes we troll with 7, 8 lines when we're fishing. Got to have that advantage. You got to get out what the fish want. You got to figure out what the fish want. And so, that's why it's important that, we're out there, we're throwing at these fish everything we can to figure out what they want. When we find out what they want, we switch over to that, and usually we're pretty successful. So,
yeah, Cubby, it's total classic. Cubby, captain down here in Cabo for 40 years, and him and I, we fish hard and we kill a lot of fish, but we have no effect on the population of the fish. But you know what? We decided when we were young, fish are food, gang. Fish are food.
Absolutely.
And it's worked out. And like I say all the time, and I do a lot of speaking events and everything, and I've been trying to get the last fish for my whole life. And every time I get back to the spot, they're still there. No matter how many I caught the day before, they're still there.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
I know. You know what? You get these NOAA observers, and they put their 2 cents in, and then before you know it, the Department of Fish and Wildlife or making rules about this and that. And you know what? A lot of the data that they get is it's
Garbage.
interpreted. It's just wrong.
Garbage.
It's wrong.
It's garbage. They never ask you or me or Shabu.
No.
They never ask us, what have we seen? They never ask us.
No, and the fact of the matter is, who knows the fish better than the guys like you and me and Shabu? They're out there every day fishing. We know where they're at. We know the numbers of fish. We know how many we can take. And for whatever it's worth, I mean, I've talked to fishermen all over the country, and we are the ones that they need to be, consulting, because we're out there every day. We know what the situation is. We know where the numbers are. We know how these fish reproduce. And, it's a shame that our industry has become so crushed by a lot of these scientists who just really have no clue. They don't.
No, they have a hidden agenda, like Cubby said.
Yeah.
Incorrect data by design.
Absolutely.
Incorrect data by design.
And that's a fact.
I'm sure you see it all the time, Shabu. You're just like, don't even talk, please. You have no idea. I saw more water yesterday than you've seen in your whole life.
Yeah. Right. That's a fact. Yeah.
It's pretty sad. It's to think about. So we got about 5 minutes left of the show here, and I just can you go over what your charter rates are, what's going on, how they can get a hold of you, what's the website, all that stuff. So I know we talked about it in the beginning of the show, but we didn't talk how to get on your boat and go fishing with you. And I know a lot of people here on the sidelines are like, oh, they want to get out there and go with you. So
sure.
Let them have it.
And we've priced our trips pretty competitively. In fact, we're probably the lowest on this island with our trips. And these are charters. So a lot of people don't know how charters work. You basically are renting the boat, and you're bringing up to 6 people to go fishing on this trip. And, I know what trips cost individually out in Southern California, because I was just out there, Davy Jones Locker with my brother back in August. And, I paid a pretty penny to go on that boat that had 30 people on it. Our rates for 4 hours are $800, 6 hours are $1,000, and a full day is about $1,200. And you can go on the other side of the island to Kona and be paying $1,500, $1,800, $2,000 for these trips very easily. If you guys are interested, we got a lot of information on our website, gofishhilo.com. And you can search us on the internet, Google. Just Google Malama Charters, and we'll come up. And then we've got a lot of great information on our website. You can book directly through the website. You can go to our Facebook page, Malama Charters Hilo, and we also have an Instagram page. And usually we're posting trips several times a week on our pages. So it's basically it. We want to make it affordable for people. Obviously, it's very expensive to keep a boat over here in Hawaii. Fuel is very expensive. Upkeep is expensive. Dockage is very expensive. And nevertheless, we want to make it affordable for people to come out here and, make their dreams come true. Catch that mahi-mahi or that marlin. Or, go out and have a great day with your family, catch a bunch of bottom fish, rockfish, So that's what we're about. We're very family friendly. We've had kids on the boat, 6 years old. We love kids. We love teaching them how to fish. Yep. So many of them have never caught a fish before, just watched it on TV. And then we've been told after they've come back from our fishing trip and they've caught fish, they're online watching YouTube. They're watching Wicked Tuna. They're watching all these fishing shows. And that's, to me, we've done our job. Yeah. We've set them up for the rest of their life, and gave them something to look forward to in life fishing, just like you and I how many times we've been through crappy days or crappy weeks, and we go out fishing, and all that stuff just vanishes, goes away.
Yeah, it does. So many people are commenting, Jerry. That's a phenomenal deal. $200 a person.
Yeah,
That is epic. You just for Hawaii
yeah,
fishing. Oh my
yeah,
God, that's
yeah.
incredible. I mean, we charge more in Southern California.
Right.
That's absolutely amazing. And to go out on a beautiful Radovich like you guys have, that I wouldn't want to be on a different kind of boat over there. Those things are made for the
Yep.
ocean. Those
Yep.
things are made to be out there in the rough water. One thing I'm going to ask you, and then we're going to get out of here. How about whales? Are there any whales over there?
We are starting to see the humpbacks come in. Yep, they're coming in from Alaska. They make that journey every year, and they're starting to trickle in. The whales usually are here in numbers mid-January through March, and we got whale watching trips to take people on. I think that's like $129 a person. Go out, you spend a couple of hours finding the whales, and man, if you've ever seen a mother birthing a baby whale, it's like phenomenal. It's amazing. And how the dolphins come in and they protect the mother as she's birthing her baby. It's just an amazing sight of nature, and it's pretty cool over here. Now I know Cabo gets a lot of whales too, because they go down there and they have their babies, and it's interesting. There's usually two migrations, one down to Mexico, Baja, and then one to Hawaii. And so we're right in that season where they're starting to come in. We've seen a few of them out here already. So as we get in more towards the season, we're going to be posting whale videos.
Nice. Yeah, I
Yeah.
wanted to talk about because I saw some of that stuff on your website
Yeah.
before. And
Yeah.
I think the coolest trip would be one day of fishing and one day of whale watching, or
Yep.
something like that. For anybody that hasn't been over there, you guys definitely want to check out Jerry's operation. Say hi to Shabu when you're on the boat. Tell him you saw him on Your Saltwater Guide, and let them know that you appreciate what they do, because that is a phenomenal price. My goodness.
Yeah. Thank you, Dave. And you know what? Thanks for getting the word out there. We're so grateful to guys like you that take a few minutes to kind of spotlight on little guys like us. We're not out to make $1 million. We're never going to do that. We just want to have service out there for people, fishermen, families that want to go out and have a great time. Let's take you out fishing. Let's show you some whales, or both. It's just it's a great thing. And Dave, thanks for your channel. I know you have a lot of new subscribers, and I'm definitely been following you, and I think it's awesome what you're doing.
Well, thank you very much. I love doing it. I do this live podcast Monday through Friday, gang, and I try to bring the small guys, like Jerry said, because we're a small business. We're a family-owned business in Dana Point Harbor. My dad started out in the industry in 1947.
Wow.
I haven't been doing it as long as he has. I only started in 74, so I'm kind of new to the deal, Shabu, but I'm just getting started here. But I'm putting together a kind of a good career. We got about 900,000 followers. We get about 30 million views a month. And I just want to give back to my industry.
That's awesome.
It's our industry, Jerry.
It
If we don't give back and we don't teach people about our industry's gone.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that's why we do what we do, Dave. We get it out there and we support each other. And, if somebody needs help, we're right there like Johnny on the spot. That's just how we are as fishermen. And our industry depends on people like us to work together to help each other out.
Absolutely. So thank you. I told you an hour, Jerry. I took up some of your time, ruined your morning having to be on this show.
It's all good.
Shabu, thank you for your time, man.
Aloha, sir.
We love everybody loves your shirt. There you go. You got to sell those shirts. Even though it's only something from Walmart, you could sell the heck out of them.
Yeah.
All right, Elliot, thank you for producing a hell of a show today. Everybody, thanks for watching, and we'll see you on Monday. Back we're going to take off the weekend. Kelly girl and I, we're going to be with you Monday. And I know our viewership will go up tremendously Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, because it's going to rain in Southern California. So,
Yeah.
oh boy, our channel's going to get some views now. All right, gang. Thank you very much. Have a great day.
Thank you. Aloha, Dave. Thank you
And turn
so
off
much.
the news. They're all lying.
Yeah, no doubt.